Hello, everybody. I just wanted to come on here with one of my current students who's soon to graduate, the lovely Jack, because we had a really interesting experience in training last month. We have lots of interesting experiences throughout the course, but I just wanted to share what we did and the effect it had on me. So thank you for popping on here, Jack.
That's okay.
So, in terms of your background, obviously you've come to the hypnotherapy course, but you are already an experienced therapist. So, do you want to just explain briefly who you are and what you do?
Yeah, sure. So for the past couple of years, I've been running my private practice as a person-centered counsellor, and I'm also qualified with cognitive behavioural therapy, so CBT, which is really great for tools and learning the practical knowledge. Sometimes we need to make changes in our lives, um, but something I've found in my experience so far is so many things that drive us are our beliefs,
Hmm.
and many of those are subconscious.
Yeah.
So we can access that place through talking, but it takes a little bit longer than something like hypnotherapy. So I've had hypnotherapy on my radar for quite a while, which is
Mhm.
what made me join the course. And I've
Well, I'm
loved it
very
so
glad that
far.
you are. Good. And oh, I love you being there. And it's great to have your wisdom and insight on the course. And I think we're very lucky on the course each year that we have a nice mix of professionals that are perhaps already in the wellbeing industry, therapists, counsellors, or perhaps work within mental health or physical health sectors. And then we also have individuals who have either got a curiosity and want to develop personally, or they want a new career to help people. And I think it's a lovely balance. And I think everybody brings something to the table to help each other learn and grow. So I'm very glad you're a part of it.
Ah, thank you. Yeah, we've got a good group.
We've got a lovely group. I can't believe we're like so close to coming to the
I
end
know,
already.
I know, it's gone so fast.
It has, but I love to see the like transformations and growth in everybody. So
Oh,
what we
gosh.
do at the beginning of the course is obviously I get everybody to write down all the stuff they want to work on. And then
Yeah.
as you're becoming therapists, you practice on each other and
Mhm.
you start ticking those things off. And it's so lovely to see, isn't it, as people are working
Yeah.
on each other, that they're overcoming habits, fears, phobias, different issues.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is such an incredible aspect of the training we've done. Because I'm often saying the best healers are the ones who heal themselves, who actually do the work and the ones who have been in the seat.
Yep.
And inevitably, you do that work on this course, with the different modules we look at and the different skills we learn. You touch on things and you get to know about each other. So you bond a lot, which is beautiful, but it's that transformation as well. For me, it's been quite profound because we always think the work's done, but then they're never really done. So it's been amazing.
And that's really why I invited you on here today because like you say, I think we're on an ongoing journey of learning and growing and evolving,
Mhm.
and stuff comes up in our lives, and I think as therapists we become aware of that and we have the tools to help ourselves, but also sometimes we need that guidance from other people. So what happened last month is I was teaching you all parts therapy. So for anyone that doesn't know, parts therapy is where we access the mind, but in terms of the different roles, functions, responsibilities it has. So, for example, somebody might say, like, part of me wants to lose weight, but another part of me keeps going and eating chocolate. So it's looking at those inner conflicts by bringing forward each different part or role and basically creating an agreement or changing the way that those things are perceived so that the person can achieve their goals. And you were all doing an amazing job, all practicing on each other. And your group had finished a little bit earlier than everybody else. The rest of the groups were still working. Everybody was nice and settled. So I
Mhm.
gave you a few options as to, well, you could do this or this or this, because I like to be practical, of course. I want you to be doing it so that you're competent and confident. And
Yeah.
one of the options I gave was, or unless anybody wants to hypnotize me and do a bit of parts therapy. So you said, yes, absolutely. And you'd been hypnotized earlier on in the day. I'd been observing your group. And you've
Mm.
been hypnotized because you were planting a plant. You've been into gardening recently.
Yeah.
And it sparked me, and I was thinking, oh, do you know what? I've got this issue at the moment. So I have recently purchased the house that I live in, but now I live here with my children, and there's some changes that I want to make. And one of the things that I started making is I started making a planter for the garden. I'm newly acquiring DIY skills, and it's a work in progress. And I'd got to where I'd almost finished this planter. I'd done all the cutting, all the screwing together. It was made. I'd bought all of my plants, and my poor plants were sat outside getting very thirsty because what they needed was this planter to be lined with like the plastic
Mm.
and for it to be filled with soil.
Mhm.
And I had a bit of a mental block with that. I just couldn't figure out, as daft as it seems, how to cut the plastic and how to put it in. So I said, right, you've sparked my imagination. You've sparked something I want to work on. So you said, yep, I'll hypnotize you and we can look at what's going on with that. And we did. So do you want to fill everybody in? Because I find different people experience hypnosis in different ways. So some people feel super alert all the time and remember everything.
Mhm.
Other people feel like they've almost been asleep. I'm somewhere in the middle where I sort of remember bits, but my own random thoughts pop in and out. And
Mhm.
particularly after a while, it feels a bit like a daydream. So I've got a vague recollection, but I think you're probably much better at filling everyone in as to what happened.
Yeah. So I loved learning about parts therapy. The way we often hear it in people's day-to-day language, like you just said, a part of me wants to do this, a part of me doesn't. So getting as much practice in as possible with that has been a thoroughly enjoyable experience. And when I worked with you, it was great because you went under hypnosis quite quickly. There wasn't much I had to do to get you relaxed, and I thought maybe there would be if you've been so busy
Hmm.
teaching, observing, relaying information, giving feedback, but you went under and you were able to access those barriers that were holding you back quite quickly when we broke it
Hmm.
down into parts. So the part of you that wanted to do this, we started there. And obviously, it's a beautiful thing to do. You know, that part of you was ready to do it.
Hmm.
And the plant you're planting, what came out was it would be quite symbolic for you to plant something nice, something to nurture and watch it grow as you're
Yeah.
growing. Really beautiful. So, what's holding you back? Of course, parts helped us to do that. So, we brought forward the part that's struggling to get this done. And we wanted to explore what is holding you back. And what came up for you was that because you've been so busy spinning multiple plates in life, that as much as you wanted to do it, it felt like a bit of a chore.
Yeah.
So we had to introduce those two parts, you know, the part of you that was ready to do it versus the part that wasn't. Because both of those parts, when we break it down, were serving you something.
Absolutely.
You know, there was a part of you that wanted to do this, something nice for you. There was another part of you that wanted to rest and not
Yeah.
force yourself to do anything.
Hmm.
So when you've identified those different parts, you can almost make them have a conversation together,
Yeah.
you know, to find an easy medium about what does this part need, what would this part say to the other part, and so what can we do? And we found with
Absolutely.
you, it's doing it because it's for you,
Yes.
but also being able to receive help. Is that maybe you don't want to do it all yourself, which was
Yeah.
another part that came up. And it was quite a
Yeah.
big part, is receiving help. So it wasn't
Absolutely.
just about the planter, it's also about receiving help. But of course, we wouldn't know that by just talking. We thought it was about the planter.
Yeah.
Of course, you delve into the subconscious, break it down into parts, and we uncover lots more. Being able to receive help.
And it's amazing. And I think often we have those unconscious programs running, and at a conscious level, we think they're there sabotaging us, holding us back, but there's a positive intention behind them. So when we pulled forward that part of me that was sort of resisting, it was actually to do with preventing overwhelm. So
Mhm.
it was trying to be protective of basically stopping me doing too much.
Yeah.
And we just had to explain to that part that actually that's not helping, because it's going to create more overwhelm if I'm avoiding the tasks that I want and need to do.
Hmm.
And with that, that part said, okay. Um,
Yeah.
and then that part that wanted help came forwards as well.
Hmm.
And I must say, for a short session of that, it was just obviously an exercise in class. The changes have been profound within me. And that's why I love hypnotherapy. So what I noticed in the days and weeks since is I went outside and I finished my planter and I enjoyed it. But not only that, I started looking around at what other tasks needed doing. And I realised that my utility room is very cluttered. So one day in my lunch break, I went outside and I just got some pieces of wood and some screws and I figured out how to make some shelves. And I was like, yay, I've achieved this. Work-wise, I started doing more tasks that perhaps I'd been avoiding or procrastinating on. But what's happened beautifully alongside that is I'm also nurturing myself more. I'm taking time to rest. So, as you say, I've had a year of quite a lot of big transitions in my life, and I think I was just go 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 trying to get everything done.
Hmm.
But obviously, we know as therapists, if people do that, full stop, they risk burnout. So,
Yeah.
what's happened since is I'm pacing it more. So, yes, I'm still working very, very hard, but I'm also sitting and having a cup of tea and enjoying the garden, or I'm allowing myself to watch the television because it's something I never do, or I'm painting. I like creating quite abstract artwork sometimes with
Mm.
knives and forks and other things that I find. And I've been sitting and doing that. So I noticed from that short session that you did with me, getting those different parts of my mind in alignment has
Mm.
created massive change. And as you say, it's far more than just being about a planter. It's
Oh,
allowed a whole different mindset to come forward. So I
yes.
just wanted to thank you for that. And it shows what a great therapist you are, because you're
Thank
able
you.
to make those differences in supporting your clients.
Yeah, thank you, Deb. It was a really great opportunity to give back, because we've done work together before.
Hmm. Yeah.
Being able to work with you was a real privilege, actually. So thank you for that experience. I'm so glad you felt that powerful shift. But that's amazing, isn't it? It was only, I mean, how long was it? About 20 minutes, maybe half an
Something like that.
hour.
Yeah,
Not long, but profound change. That shows how
absolutely.
powerful hypnosis is and the mind.
Yeah, I quite agree. And this is why I'm always so proud to see each year my students graduate and become hypnotherapists and then go out there and make a positive difference with this, because it works on so many different levels. You get people come with habits, phobias, fears,
Mm-hmm.
deep-seated things like traumas that they've carried for a long time,
Yeah.
lifestyle changes, wanting to stop smoking, to lose weight, to develop in their confidence. It's so far-reaching.
Mm.
And it's just such a privilege to know that by being able to share those skills with others, all those other people that are on the course each year then go out and help a lot more people. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's just wonderful.
Yeah. Those ripple effects. It's a really
Yeah.
beautiful thing. Yeah. And what's been nice is it's very practical, the course. Initially, it feels like being chucked in at the deep end, but before you know it, the skills we're doing, it's like second nature. At the
Yeah.
start of the course, it might have felt a bit daunting to put the teacher into hypnosis. I would have jumped for the challenge anyway, but this time I felt so relaxed, and it's
Good.
like you don't have to overthink it. It just goes with it. Feels like second nature.
And that's why I designed the course the way it's like you say. I do feel in some ways, I see sometimes some of the students when they first start, when I say, right, we're going to hypnotize each other now, or we're going to use this therapeutic technique.
Mhm.
Initially, it can feel like a lot, but I do it in that way very deliberately, because we're laying the foundations in lots of different areas, so that by the time it's coming to sort of the last third of the course where you are now, you've got
Uh,
all of those skills and they do just come in naturally. And I I'm always amazed and in awe of the way that you'll sit with each other. And by this time, if you're doing a technique but it's not quite working, you'll start using a different technique and you will work with whatever the client is presenting with. and you will adapt, which I think is so important as a therapist, to be receptive to your client,
Yeah.
and you get people where they need to be. And yeah, it's wonderful to be a part of it.
Yeah. Oh, it's incredible. I would do it all again if I could. And we've not even finished.
No, I know. I'd love to have you back in. You've been an absolute model pupil. And not that
Oh,
you're a pupil, but you know what I mean.
thanks, Debbie.
Oh, right. Well, it's been really nice to catch up with you. Thank you ever
Oh,
so
you
much
too.
for popping on. And thank you to everyone for listening. And we hope you enjoy your day. Take care,
Take
and
care.
we'll speak to you again soon. Bye bye for now.
Bye.